Hey, how's it going guys? This is Dave 2D and this is my review of the Dell XPS 13. So this has been updated to Skylake. It's the 9350 model. I did a review earlier this year on the 9343 model, but because they're so similar, I'm not gonna do like a super comprehensive video on this one, but I've been using it for the past couple of months and I wanted to highlight some things that they've changed and some things that haven't changed. Let's do it. Okay, so it comes in the same black box as before, there's no accessories, and the same 45-watt AC adapter with its cool light-up tip. But the 3-position duck head from before was discontinued, so you have to just use this long extension cord. The exterior is unchanged. It's got the same premium aluminum finish on the exterior with that air intake and the serial number hatch on the bottom. The screws come off, but just like the previous generation, only the storage drive is upgradable. The RAM is soldered on. The build quality hasn't changed. Everything is still really well engineered and it feels tight and rigid. It's good stuff. The ports on the outside are unchanged for the most part. The only noticeable difference is the mini display port, which has been replaced with a USB 3.1 Type-C Lightning port. So this port has a ton of bandwidth and adds potential for future connectivity. The laptop can also be charged using this port if you have an appropriate charger. The unit I have here is a Core i5-6200U running at 2.3 GHz, a 13.3-inch Quad HD touchscreen, Intel HD 520 graphics, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, all for $1,400 US. And going with the 1080p screen instead of the Quad HD screen will save you about $300 to $400. Opening it up, you get the same carbon fiber material as the previous generation. It's durable, it looks good, and there's a nice rubbery finish to it. I love this stuff. The screen options are the same as before. So my review unit last time had a 1080p screen, which was good, but nothing super special. This unit here has the Quad HD screen. Now, this higher res screen doesn't come cheap, and it drains batteries quicker, but it's really nice. So it's an IPS panel with great color reproduction, good viewing angles, and it's really bright, like brighter than a 13-inch MacBook Pro. Both of these screen options still have this amazingly thin bezel, which is like the signature feature of the XPS line right now, and the webcam is still down here, but it doesn't bother me too much. The keyboard hasn't changed. It's a decent backlit keyboard, and the typing experience is something that most users will get comfortable with after a little bit of use. The glass trackpad is unchanged in terms of the hardware, but there's been a slew of updates since the first iteration launched. So if you were an early adopter of the XPS 13 back in February and you hated this trackpad, it's had significant improvements since then. It's still not an amazing trackpad, and the one on the XPS 15 is noticeably better, but for a 13-inch Windows-based Ultrabook, this one's pretty good now. Drive performance has improved. The previous generation used an M2 SATA slot. This one uses a PCIe slot, which is a much faster interface, but the drive they have in here is the 256 gig PM951 drive from Samsung. And if you've seen my XPS 15 review, its write speed is a little slow for a PCIe drive. It's still a step up from the previous generation, but if you need super fast write speeds, you should upgrade this. The interface can push much faster write speeds. The new Skylake processors are faster and they're more energy efficient. CPU performance is around 10 to 15% better than Broadwell chips, but combined with the new HD 520 graphics, it's around a 20% increase in gaming performance, at least theoretically. It's not a gaming laptop, but lightweight games can hit 50 to 55 frames per second at 1080p if you're running on low graphics settings. But moderately demanding games like Rainbow Six or Fallout 4, those get around 35 to 40 frames per second on low graphics settings. And really demanding games like Witcher 3 are basically unplayable. Speakers are the same as before, they sound pretty good and they get loud, and the fan noise has improved a lot. It still idles at around 20 decibels, but under load this thing is much quieter than before. The older model used to break 40 decibels, now it's around 30 decibels. The thermals haven't changed. It still gets a little warm, but it's not too bad. There's a slightly bigger battery on the inside now. It used to be a 52 watt-hour battery, now it's a 56 watt-hour battery. And for the first month I used this, I was actually getting less battery life than the previous generation. But in early December, a BIOS update came out which fixed a battery drain bug. So now battery life is very similar to the previous generation. With screen at 75% brightness, you can expect around 8 hours of regular use on the Quad HD screen and about 10 to 11 hours of regular use on the 1080p screen. I also got around 2 hours of playing games with screen screen at maximum brightness. So with the updated XPS 13, we're getting the same aluminum and carbon fiber materials with excellent build quality. We're getting the same screen options as before, both of them with that super thin bezel. The 1080p screen is good, the Quad HD screen is great. The keyboard and trackpad are unchanged, but the trackpad software has improved significantly over time. They're both pretty good now. They're running Skylake chips now that are slightly faster than the Broadwell chips, and they support USB 3.1. The RAM still isn't user upgradable, so make sure you get enough when you order. And the storage drive is still upgradable, and it now uses the much faster PCIe interface. The battery life is really solid for an Ultrabook and lasts about the same as the previous generation. So to wrap this up, this is still my favorite 13-inch Windows-based Ultrabook. It's not a super budget-friendly device, but it's really well built, it's got good performance, and it looks good. And it's actually one of the few devices that have top-tier build quality, top-tier performance at a reasonable price. That's the end of this review. Hope you guys liked it. Thumbs if you did, subs if you loved it. It's been nice. I'll see you guys next time.